The different theories, trait theory, interactionist, and social learning theory, all try to explain motivation in terms of an individual's personality. Trait theory says that some individuals are born with the drive to want to achieve and succeed, and are therefore more motivated than those who aren't very competitive and don't care if they succeed or not. Social learning theory states that individuals learn to be motivated via observing role models, leaders, or parents who display motivational characteristics. If an individual's parents are very motivated, then the child will observe this behaviour and reinforce it in their own play, and are going to get very motivated as well. Then finally, the interactionist theory supports both theories and says that some of the characteristics of motivation people are born with, and it shapes their personality, but also that the environment that the individuals are in, via observing role models and leaders, also play a part in shaping an individual's personality and therefore motivation levels. In John's case, he could innate some motivational skills shown when he loved swimming, but also environmental factors such as his parents also enjoying sport and being encouraging of him doing sport. He could have observed his parents' traits and reinforce that in his own behaviour. There are a few different theories which try to explain motivation. These include need achievement theory, growth mindset theory, attribution theory, and achievement goal theory. Need achievement theory is the theory that there are two different personality types which individuals fall under. Either NAF, which stands for need to avoid failure, or NAC, which stands for need to achieve. So either people are motivated to succeed or to avoid failure. This involves a mixture of personality and situational factors. Those with a NAC personality are willing to take risks, want feedback given to them, and they are not afraid to fail and they accept challenges. Whereas those with a NAF personality are afraid of failure, avoid taking risks, avoid challenges, and don't like feedback. These personality factors mix together with environmental factors. NAC combines with the situational factor, which is the probability of success, and then NAF combines with the situational factor, which is the incentive value of success. A NAC personality type is what most coaches would much rather the players have. There are things that can occur to change a NAF personality into a NAC personality. These include providing positive feedback, reducing punishment, gradually increasing the task difficulty, and providing success for the players. By giving positive feedback, this can help a player feel more confident in their ability and more valued. Reducing punishment can help a NAF player turn into a NAC, as they'll feel less worried about doing something wrong and being told off, and so they're more likely to start taking risks and not worry about failure. Increasing task difficulty is a good way to help players improve, as they'll be more up for completing challenges in the future. The coach would need to make sure they don't make the task so difficult that they have no chance of succeeding. To reduce NAF, punishment needs to be reduced so players don't stress out as much about failing. Trying to reduce situations where defeat is very likely, and choosing more situations where success is much more likely to occur. This graph here shows where the NAC and NAF personality would be placed on them based on their motivational levels. In this graph, A is the NAC and B is the NAF person. The chance of winning against a weak team here is for a NAC individual. The chance of winning against a weak team is high, but then for a weak team, the probability of success is low when playing, for example, the best in the world, but they have nothing to lose and not much pressure. And then for B, the incentive of the success is low if you're beating a team who's rubbish, but then the incentive is high when playing someone who's ranked higher, as it grabs headlines and all that. The next theory is growth mindset theory. Growth mindset theory is the question about where certain characteristics come from and if they are changeable. There are two different types of growth mindsets, fixed and growth. as proposed by Dweck in 2008. Fixed mindsets include very basic features such as intelligence and talent. Everyone varies in their talent levels and their levels of intelligence. Those with fixed mindsets say that their personality traits such as intelligence are set in stone. There is the question of, are these factors innate and fixed, or are these factors those which can be changed through learning, effort, training and practice, which is basically what a growth mindset is and believes. This kind of mindset is considered to be more advantageous, as it said that through hard work, dedication and commitment, basic abilities can be gained. This makes individuals more motivated and willing to learn, which is required for success to occur. Those with fixed mindsets concentrate only on their feedback on their own success. They don't use the feedback to learn from their mistakes because they don't believe that success comes from learning, but from what abilities you are born with. All they care about is showing off their success to others. They will do this by hiding any mistakes that they make, act in a very dominant way, and blame others for certain things. So when they fail, they hate it because they don't think they can fix it, as they think learning should come naturally, and that it is a limit that they can't overcome. Whereas those with a growth mindset think that their own success is down to learning. This means that they are not too afraid of failure because they know that the reason for it was because they didn't put in enough effort and time. And so use this failure as a way of realizing that they need to pay more attention, put more time and effort into the learning, as they believe that if they do this next time, they're confident they won't fail and their performance will be much improved. So they learn from their mistakes. They believe they should put more time into learning things they struggle with and put less time in learning things that they find very easy. After failure, it's predicted that those with a growth mindset will recover very well, but those with a fixed mindset will not be able to recover from it. This was suggested by Grant and Dweck in 2003. The next theory is attribution theory. Attribution theory looks at the reasons given by coaches or players for why a certain result occurs, for example, a win or a loss. The theory was developed by Wiener and attempts to explain how and why people behave and act in certain ways. After, for example, a football match win, the team would think about the reasons for why they won. So, what behaviours they obtained and the reasons for these causes and behaviour. The effect of this attribution would then be taken into account. This would help a team in the future as they will be able to decipher what led to the win, and for the next match can effort and participation be increased to improve performance. The table links together stability and locus of causality, or locus of control. Individuals can then be categorized according as either a high achiever or a low achiever. Those who are classed as a high achiever win regularly. They will attribute their success and failure very differently to how low achievers class it. High achievers think that their success is due to their ability and effort, which is an internal factor which they control. They think defeat is due to it being a difficult match and that they were unlucky. This is an external factor that they cannot control due to their defeat. This will protect a team's confidence. Whereas low achievers can think the complete opposite. When they lose a lot of their matches, they think that it's down to their own capabilities. When they have success, they think it's down to luck, and that the team they were playing against must have been very easy. Then when they defeat, they believe that it's because they didn't put enough effort in, and that their ability just isn't good enough to have beaten the team. This way of thinking destroys a team's self-confidence, as they think that the only reason that they won was down to luck, which is an external factor. The internal factors, such as ability and effort, are only looked upon when they lose, not when they win. In John's case, he found out that his grades were very average. He didn't have a high achiever's mindset and think that it was due to luck or difficulty. He automatically thought that he wasn't good enough and that his ability wasn't great either. This destroyed his self-confidence, and now he doesn't want to go back to swimming. As a coach, you are looking to turn those players in your team from low achievers to high achievers. This can be done by what's called attribution or retraining. For example, when the team or players lose, tell them it was due to the ref's bad decision, or that the team they were against were of a much higher level and standard, and they did play very well even to go against them. Then, when the team wins, the coach needs to praise their performance and make a really big deal of it, so it lifts the players' confidence. A high achiever also uses self-serving bias. This involves the use of attributions to protect their own self-esteem and confidence, and this can help build a team's confidence by defeating a team's external factors. Whereas low achievers use learned helplessness. This is when a performer feels failure is inevitable, as they have no control over the situation. This can be caused by attributing defeat to ability and effort. There are two different types of learned helplessness, general and specific. General is when people are just not good at any sport, and then specific is when people are not good at certain aspects of sport. Linking this to John is good at the technical side of swimming, however isn't that good at racing and competing. Achievement goal theory is about what you judge yourself on. It is to do with a person's behaviour towards developing their ability to achieve or perform. Individuals either want to show their competence to others, this is performance orientation, or they want to develop their competence or knowledge for the sake of learning new skills. This is mastery orientation. Performance-orientated individuals are also associated with the ego outcome, and mastery-orientated individuals are associated with task outcome. Those who are performance-orientated are interested in being the best, winning, and being compared to others, whereas those who are mastery-orientated prefer to receive feedback and advice from a coach about how they can improve and get better. There are 4 different types of goal orientation: the performance approach, performance avoidance, the mastery approach, and mastery avoidance. Performance approach is when the goal is to demonstrate competence by performing well, whereas the mastery approach is when the goal is to gain competence because they want to learn and understand new things for improvement purposes. Performance avoidance is when the goal is to avoid in showing incompetence, but for mastery avoidance, the goal is to avoid misunderstanding information so that they can take on board all of the feedback given and correctly replicate it. There are patterns that have been shown to indicate that mastery goal orientation leads to success, as any failure can be avoided via strategy or by a change in strategy. There is an increase in the amount of time that players spend on tasks, so therefore they can gain a better understanding on how to master their technique. The pattern shown for those who follow performance goal orientation that show that negative effects occur after they experience failure, such as they drop out. Players are much more likely to go through anxiety when competing, and in training they don't put in much effort. John has a more mastery goal orientation, as he doesn't like being put under pressure via the swimming races. He didn't like the fact he was compared to other students, and he wanted to improve his swimming so that he could get better. He harassed his siblings to help him improve and had a better technique than speed, therefore showing that he's focused mainly on technique opposed to being the best. Reasons for why certain people differ in terms of what orientation they prefer were suggested it could be down to their childhood experiences, the people around them, their environment in which they learn, expectations placed on them by the coach and parents, and cultural differences between the players. It's said that teachers can influence students' goal orientation. The goal orientation theory relates to many people. Some individuals will do well by setting performance goals for themselves, while some will succeed when setting up master goals so that the pressure is taken off them and they are easier to achieve.